We're students of the 3rd Junior High School of Levadia and we're part of the Erasmus Plus program with subject of capitalizing on local intangible cultural heritage around Europe. We're here to explore the importance of the Delphic grove.
When did the cultivation of olives appear for the first time?
10,000 years ago, after big climate changes on the planet, the Mediterranean climate is stabilizing. At the beginning in the eastern basin and then in the north and west of the Mediterranean is getting stable. At the same period is stabilizing the appearance of the wild olive trees in the Mediterranean. The domestication of the olive tree is placed in the 3rd century before Christ millennium and met independently in different regions of the Mediterranean basin over a long period of time. The ancient world and the great monotheistic religions narrate us their stories with the font of the olive tree.
How do the olives and the olive oil contribute to the Mediterranean cultures? In the Athenian mythology, the olive tree appears as a gift from goddess Athena out of her fight between her and the god Poseidon over the leadership of Athens. The olive oil is valuable for nutrition, for lighting, for therapies, as well as for the athletes, hygiene, aphrodisian, etc. In the Old Testament, the God announces the end of the cataclysm to Noah, sending to him a pigeon carrying a branch of an olive tree. In the New Testament, the olive appears to be used for lighting and therapies. Jesus and his disciples used the olive oil for healing.
In the Grecian world, the olive tree symbolizes eternity, peace, and grandness. For the most lands, the olive tree is a sacred tree that treats as heaven. 95% of the world production of olive oil is produced in the Mediterranean area.
What was the importance of Delphi in the ancient world, and how was the olive grove of Amphissa created?
According to Apollo's mythology, when Zeus released 2 eagles, the first one from the east and the other one from the west, they met in Delphi. That was then considered to be the center of the world. The ancient olive grove of Amphissa, in the middle of the Delphic Landscape, which counts more than 1 million trees, was chosen by the University of Yale as a symbol of the importance of olives and olive oil in the human nutrition.
The olive grove of Amphissa, which is about 3,000 years old, was planted in antiquity with 40 to 50 trees by acre. Then, at the time of the Venetians, more trees were added by acre.
4 to 5 trees were planted by acre. The variety of Amphissa was developed. In the first centuries, the trees were selected to produce olives appropriate for the making of olive oil, but with the passage of time, they were made to produce edible olives.
Are there any old alive trees in this traditional olive grove?
A 1,000-year-ago-old tree relates the history of the olive grove. The tree reaches in height 15 meters, and the tree is cultivated here because the climate is warm and it helps to avoid the insects. The Amphissa variety of olives are edible. The olive grove took in contemporary from out the three last centuries.
Many times the olive grove was used as guarantee in government in order to borrow money from abroad, by land here operated like the stock market.
Itea became a port for the export of olives.
What kind of problems does the olive trade face nowadays?
Many merchants and craftsmen operated around the olive market.
Black olives that are collected like that from the tree are subject to the competition of the olives of the Spanish variety that become black in an artificial manner lately.
As we know, olive has a great thermal value. Thus, we use these branches to light a fire in the fireplaces.
Today, with the economical crisis, the olive trees are a matter of the interest to the owner growers.
How did the region react to the economic crisis that our country, Greece, has been suffering from since 2010?
New products are produced like green olives and fine olive oil. The production of the olive oil is combined with tourism and other exports.
The Amphissa oil has taken prizes in international competition of olive oil. An international competition of olive oils was organized in Delphi.
More than 400 samples of olive oil were submitted to the competition, coming from producers of the major olive-producing countries. The Athena competition was hosted at Delphi because of its history regarding olive oil and unique olive grove.
How big is the olive grove and what kind of goods does it produce?
In the 6,000 acres for the Amphissa olive grove, the trees are cultivated in order to produce edible olives as well as oil. About 10,000 tons of edible olives as well as 2,000 tons of olive oil are produced annually here.
How are the olives collected and in which ways is the cultivation succeeded?
In the region of Amphissa, there is one of the most productive olive groves in Balkan states. It is estimated that there are more than 1,200,000 olive trees whose age dates back to the New Stone or prehistoric age. The olive picking takes place every autumn from the end of September to the middle of October. Some years ago, workers used their hands in order to pick up olives. Nowadays, there are used special machines to collect the olives, which are thrown to the ground and are collected in special fabric bags in order to be transferred to the factories which produce oil.
The olive trees are often pruned to be refreshed bloom, and grown better. The remaining branches and leaves are used as animal feed by many livestock farmers.
How is the fertilization succeeded?
Nowadays, olive growers have found a new way to incorporate their branches of olive trees into the ground in order to fertilize their fields, as the number of pet animals which eat the branches has reduced. In early times, farmers fed their goats and sheep because they wanted their sheep. This sheep has been used as a fertilizer for their fields since 1960. Then olive growers started to use chemical fertilizers as animals were reduced because tractors replaced them.
How is the irrigation made?
From Amphissa to the Sea of Itea, there is an altitude difference, 180 meters. In order to be covered this difference, steps have been made to hold these holes with earthy levers. These levers are filled up with water and simultaneously the fertigation is becoming.
We start collecting the water from the torrents and use it again in the winter.
The unique phenomenon in the Mediterranean is that water is not let to end up in the sea.
In which ways is the olive grove going to be preserved, and how could it contribute to the development of the area?
The most important feature of the area is the utilization of Delphi, the traditional olive grove, and all the relationships that are formed by the visits in the area of Delphi.